And how these protests are being handled depends on whether you live in a red state or a blue state. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, the NRA certification of multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you like channel, like content, what I do, you can support me with the link. Everything is appreciated. Once an online store is open, you can use CGB20. It'll get you 20% off on all items, free shipping. Connecticut residents, you have to pay the sales tax. I have no say in that matter, but CGB20 will get you 20% off. Let's talk about this. And today is Saturday, June 14th. This is supposed to be a nationwide protest called No King's Day. And what they're referring to is saying that they're protesting against the way Trump is using his authority, claiming that he is being authoritarian or a dictator. A dictator because they're stemming it from the illegal immigrant crackdown. Now, California Governor Newsom, who went out there and said and literally implied that the raids that were going on in LA were going to spread across the entire country and said everyone should mobilize.
California may be first, but it clearly will not end here. Other states are next. Democracy is next. Democracy is under assault before our eyes. This moment we have feared has arrived. Donald Trump's government isn't protecting our communities. They're traumatizing our communities. And that seems to be the entire point. California will keep fighting. It will keep fighting on behalf of our people, all of our people, including in the courts.
Now, as we have seen in the past, when these leftists get together in protest, they turn violent each and every time. I'm expecting nothing less. But how each state is handling it is dependent on whether they're a Democrat bastion or Republican bastion. A perfect example is Karen Bass, when the National Guard moved in because ICE agents were being attacked by these leftist protesters. She claimed that there was no violence before the National Guard showed up.
Last Thursday, there was nothing happening in this town that called for the raids that took place on Friday. Nothing was happening. Nothing warranted the raids. If you remember at the beginning of this administration, we were told that raids would be to look for violent criminals, people who had warrants. But I don't know how you go from a drug dealer to a Home Depot.
We could arrest them in the safety and security of the county jail, but they won't let us into jail. They release them into the community, which means we got to send a whole bunch of teams in the community to find this dangerous person that don't want to be found. So Sanctuary City is going to get exactly what they don't want. More officers in the communities and more officers in worksite. We can't arrest them in jail or arrest them in the community. If we can't arrest them in the community, we're going to increase worksite enforcement operation. We're going to flood the zone.
Everyone who could see the videos could see that was a crock of shit. Every one of us could see what was going on. Yet, once again, the left has learned nothing from the election and they continue to gaslight. Newsom also picked up that same banner. And if you remember, he sued Trump for using the National Guard. A federal judge said that he had to turn over control back to the state. The Ninth Circuit said, no, we're going to stay that. And we're going to wait until, I believe it's June 17th, they're going to have a hearing where the two parties can argue for one side or the other. So right now, Trump still has the control of the National Guard and they remain in LA where they're needed. Now, I want to point out something very clearly. This is not an organic protest. This is a paid for, bought and sold protest.
So we're at Los Angeles and Temple, also outside the federal building where I believe Christina Gonzalez is live. You can see the crowds just coming in and almost feel the energy building. We've been seeing people up here at Los Angeles and Temple doing donuts in the street. And then if you look out here, this is the federal building right now. The National Guard is protecting the steps with, it looks like, federal police next to them. as it looks like, yeah, we have people right now, look at this, dropping off food and water. I mean, preparations are underway for what could be a long night right now.
Interesting to see that. Christina Gonzalez was saying that this is not an organized rally like we saw earlier in the day, where you have the different organizations that are backing some of these protests. This is more, she said, organic, and maybe that's what you're seeing there. I'm hoping that is.
What are those boxes?
Are those masks of some sort? Are those gas masks?
Trying to see
that doesn't look like food.
Yeah,
and
those
water.
are.
Looks like masks.
Yeah, no, those are masks. Yeah, so people are prepping for some sort of altercation with police as we speak.
Yeah, because, this is a different scene than what
this intersection, like I said.
Yeah. I mean, we saw
at this intersection, like I said, there's no local police. We've been seeing the burnouts.
A very different scene. And are those hats that you wear that are more like helmets? I mean, this is a worrying sight.
By the hospital, there's just a pallet of bricks down here, and this one dude hanging out. This is so weird. Like, what? We're gonna up a hospital? Who the is this and why? This is ridiculous. Why are they here? Okay, so you're on our side?
Yeah, no, man.
Dude, what the
Dude, I don't know. I got here and the cops were already here and they're like,
You're kidding me.
Just got a call about it. Like 5 different calls have gone into 3
Is this a hospital?
This is a hospital too.
Some say being funded by a billionaire who wasn't American or isn't American, but he's in China, Shanghai, and he's a tech billionaire, and they say that money's coming from him.
Just found a really great deep dive here from the Data Republican on X. So who is behind all these crazy riots in LA and that will be across the nation? Just like, remember, in the Summer of Love with BLM, remember who's organizing all that stuff? With this specifically is being funded by an individual by the name of Neville Singham, who actually made his money by pushing communist Chinese propaganda, became a billionaire doing it. He's now funding, and the guy behind all of these protests was also behind and tied to the protests at Columbia University, pushing all of that BS, if you don't remember. And then also, too, if you actually look at the social organization that's putting out these flyers, it's the Party for Socialism and Liberation, which is, and I kid you not, the actual Communist Party. So they're using Hispanics, they're using illegal immigrants, they're trying to hype people up thinking that they care, but they don't care. They would stop illegal immigration. Obama deported people, why all of a sudden now? It's political.
So others are saying, of course, the usual suspects, Soros and what have you, but understand that these protests are not organic. They are paid for. This has nothing to do with illegal immigration. This is designed to create chaos. But I want to talk about is how different states are handling it. You can see how California, the leadership in California at the local and state level are handling it poorly, period. But red states are not playing.
All protests aren't created equal, because in Texas, when a few hundred anti-ICE dimwits tried to take back the Alamo, this is how it went down.
I want to remind everybody that we come in peace. We're not fighting, nor are we instigating. We're fighting with our voices. If there's a breakout, I ask for everybody just to sit down. We're going to say a few speeches, and then we'll probably do a little march.
Needless to say, they didn't get the Alamo. The Texas National Guard was deployed, but no one spit in their faces or threw bottles at them. It all remained pretty under control. And to make sure things stay that way, Governor Greg Abbott announced today that he's deploying even more.
And it was very interesting. You heard that comment about we're going to sit down for a moment. We actually got some intel that those agitators who were bringing forth the protest said, if anyone throws a Molotov cocktail or a rock, everybody sit down so the police know who to arrest. That's a very smart move on their part. First of all, don't throw any Molotov cocktails, don't throw any rocks. You can peacefully protest, but we're serious about this in red states, Laura, and we're really serious in Texas. And when you come and say you're going to take back the Alamo, well, that'll be the day. That'll never happen.
And a sheriff in Florida, and boy, this has gone viral, made it very clear. You come into my city and riot and loot and assault my officers, well,
Now, following violence in LA's protests, in Florida, law enforcement and political leaders saying we are not California, and they aren't mincing words.
If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead.
That is a person who is very comfortable knowing that the governor has his back. And the governor made it clear. You block the highway, because there's a law in Florida that says if you are blocking a public access road, drivers have they don't have to stop. They can just keep going.
If you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets.
And they know this, but you know what doesn't happen in Florida? They don't block the roads. Because there's a law that says you get hit, that's on you. That's how it works. But just realize blue states and red states are handling this differently. The blue states are on the side of these agitators. Period. You can see the LA police have their hands tied and they're doing the best they can, whereas the National Guard does not have to answer technically to Newsom. They can do what they got to do along with the feds. But red states are telling Texas, we're going to put National Guard out there. Florida, you come mess around, tell us where to send your remains. I have no problem with that. But just remember, this is not about illegal immigration or even Trump's authoritarianism that they claim he is promoting. This is a non-organic movement that is about chaos. And that's what they're trying to do, and that's what they're trying to get. Absolute chaos. And unfortunately, in blue cities and states, they are getting it. So be careful out there. Keep your head on a swivel. If you're in one of these idiotic places where these people think that violence is justified, you got yourself a carry permit, protect yourself. Protect yourself at all costs. Because this is not the last time this is going to happen. We're going to see this over and over and over and over and over again. We're going to see this continuously for the next 4 years. I'm not saying get used to it, but be prepared for it. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace.